welcome once again. Very pleased to have you at our fourth live event of the Launchmetrics series, a series of live demos of Launchmetrics products. And today we'll be talking about how to tap into the Chinese market and KOL campaigns and analytics specifically. My name is Alex. I'm the business marketing executive here at Launchmetrics. And with me today, I have Gracie, our VP of Sales APAC, who will walk you through the platform. She's based in Singapore, so it's her 9:30 p.m. So really appreciate you joining us today, Gracie. Welcome.
Great to be here, Alex. Hi, everyone.
Great, hi. As always, let's very quickly go through the agenda. We'll start by a very brief introduction to Launchmetrics for those of you who don't yet know us. Then we'll take a look at the key challenges faced by professionals in the industry. And then me and Gracie will walk you through two of our platforms. As always, feel free to leave any questions in the chat box and we'll have some time to answer them in the end. Right, so for those of you who don't know us, Launchmetrics is the leading brand performance cloud for fashion, luxury, and beauty. We work with over 1,200 clients from the fashion, luxury, and beauty industry, as well as some key partners, some of which you can see here on the slide. So Launchmetrics is twofold. On one side, we help brands be more efficient. We help them digitize internal processes that they already have. And then on the other side, it's tracking their marketing activities, their strategies, and leveraging data and insights so they can better understand the performance of what they've been doing. And today we'll be focusing on that, on the metrics, the analytics, all things understanding performance in China. So for these two sides, our tools and data help executives make smarter decisions around their branding efforts. So now that we know what Launchmetrics does and how we do it, I think it's important to introduce media impact value. If you read publications such as WWD or Vogue Business or even the New York Times, you might have actually already seen it. So essentially, it's a monetary representation of your brand performance. It's a metric that assigns a monetary value to every post, every article, every campaign, and helps our customers understand what's working and what isn't. And when we're talking about measuring your activities and your performance in China, this will become key. So let's move on to the key challenges faced by professionals in the industry, something we always do, but I'll try to be brief because of course we're here for solutions. So as we know by now, China has become a key market for fashion, luxury, and beauty. There's no denying that. And more brands are investing in local campaigns, local voices, such as key opinion leaders, and really growing in that space. And for most brands, the issue here is, when tapping into that market is having a good overview of what their competitors are doing and how fast they're growing in the Chinese market. Because it is important to see if your audience is already there, if your competitors are there, and if they are, what things they're doing, so you could learn from them or even replicate them. So that global overview of regions and evolution of media impact value of your competitors is something brands are really lacking, and something I'll be able to show you in insights in a second. Then our second challenge is, really understanding that Chinese market in general and the local voices. I think we all know by now that how we do marketing in China will be so different to our approach in the West. There are differences in culture and user behavior, the completely different social media platforms. And all of these differences are so evident by now that developing really any marketing strategy in China will require a lot of research. And whereas in the West, we have tools and metrics we use to determine which influencers we want to work with, what kind of content works, and all of that. In China, we'll be talking about KOLs and KOCs, and the audience needs will be very much different to the needs of the audience in the West. And so the metrics we choose to work with when we choose a KOL will also differ. And how to find the KOL or KOC in the first place is a big challenge for brands. And that's why having access to a local database and analytics will be so crucial here. And this is something that Gracie will be able to show you in a second. And then lastly, there'll be the challenge of measuring the ROI of activities. So brands, and as you know, you invest a lot of time on back and forth negotiations with KOLs and a lot of resources, right? Be it cash payments or mass product seedings, but you don't really kind of have this one tool that be able to measure the ROI of all these investments. And then when we talk about the global scale here, we'll be faced with the issue of the different ways in which we measure that success and that performance when it comes to influencers in the West versus KOLs in China, as we'll be looking at slightly different metrics. So to sum up here, first of all, we have the challenge of knowing what our competitors are doing and who they're working with. Then we have understanding the Chinese market and finding the right KOL to work with. And finally, measuring the ROI of our marketing activities. Right, so time to dive into the platforms. I'm going to very briefly go into Insights. It's a platform we have dived into a while ago. So if you do have access to your website, you can have a look at the replay of Insights. But I'll just very quickly show you here. So we go into our benchmark, into the Insights dashboard, and what we can see here is that global overview, that ranking of different beauty brands, our competitors, whoever we decide to put here, and how they're ranking by MIV, so media impact value, which I introduced before, at a global scale. And then what I can do here is I can go into the location, I can type in China and see, how this changes. So we have Dior Beauty in first place, followed by Chanel. We have Paula's Choice in sixth. So let's see how they perform in China specifically. So after selecting the location, I can see that Dior and Chanel swap places. So Chanel is actually doing better than Dior when it just comes to China. And someone like Paula's Choice dropped from 6th place to 8th place, meaning they're probably don't have such a strong performance in China specifically. And then what I can do now here is I can go into brands. So I know Chanel Beauty was a brand that was performing very well. So I can select Chanel. I'm going to select a slightly longer time here just so we can have some good results. So let's say I select the first half of the year. I'm going to hit apply here. And what it will show us is the performance of Chanel Beauty, again, globally for the first half of the year. So we'll be able to see all the top performing markets, and then we'll be able to dive more deeper into China specifically. So here what I have is the media impact value evolution. So how Chanel is performing month on month, if there are any peaks and dips in here. And then what I can see here is the media impact value per location. So Chanel, we know, is very strong in France and United States, but actually their biggest market is China. Their biggest, the strongest performance is in China. So, okay, let's say I'm a smaller brand. I already know that Chanel is doing very well in China. So now what I want to see is who they're working with and which voice is their top performing one. Apologies for my internet issues. That always happens when you're trying to show something. Let me see if I can reload the page. Right, so again, we go into brand focus. So what we're able to do is check here which voice is doing the best for Chanel. And apologies for this not loading, it's my internet connection issue. But basically what we can see here is what influencers the Chanel Beauty is working with, which KOLs in China. And so this is a very top level data. You can have a look. It's like the first discovery stage of what they're doing, what's working, which influencers they're working with. And now if you wanted to specifically dive into a KOL and you wanted to take a step further and plan your whole activity with them, maybe a campaign, maybe a specific campaign on your calendar like Valentine's Day, this is something you'll be able to do in a different feature of the Brand Performance Cloud, which is something that Gracie will be able to show us. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and show you how you can then dive into that KOL specifically.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Alex. Okay, I believe everyone can see my screen now. So what Alex just shared with everyone here, the Insight tool is actually a tool to analyze and track all the data across all the channels. And what you are seeing here right now, the Parkloo platform, is a platform that's designed specifically for influencers and for China market. So one of the key challenge that we actually go through a couple of key challenge right now, but before I actually dive into the data and analytics, I think everyone might have already noticed that all these colorful icons for all the Chinese social platforms. So there are actually more than 10 social platforms in China market only. So that's exactly why we need a platform that's specifically designed for China market and for influencers specifically. So let's go to search to start with. So as Alex mentioned that currently brands actually struggle quite a lot with finding the right voices and the right influencers to work with. So Parklu's search tool will be able to help brands to find the right KOLs that fits into their brand strategy. So how to do that? So there are multiple search functions that you can do. So today I'm gonna use beauty brands, Amour Pacific as an example. So just imagine I'm now the social media manager for Amour Pacific. I wanted to come to this platform, and in terms of category, I have different choices, but I'm gonna only look for skincare related KOL. And then in terms of the location, I have the choice to just look at the first tier cities. And then for account type, I'm gonna only look at the influencers. And in this way, I plan to do KOL cooperation on Little Red Book. So after that, I decide that I wanted to work with most of the micro KOLs to conduct my product seeding, right? So after all this round of filtering, what the platform will do is it will actually it already automatically recommend a bunch of KOL for you to look at. So there are more than 700 KOLs that you can select from. So if I scroll down, I will be able to see a couple of KOLs here, and I might find this Rita KOL quite interesting. So what I can do is I can click on this KOL profile, and then I will be able to see everything related to this KOL's profile. So what I can see is the engagement data for these KOLs and the fans demographics for this KOL as well. This could be quite crucial for you to target your consumers, as we all know. And you can also have the choice to go see all the posts that Rita actually have posted out. And you can rank all these posts by recency or the MIV, as Alex previously explained what that means. And what is really cool about this KOL profile is that you can see all the brand mentions that this KOL actually work with, right? So the bigger the brand keywords is, that means the more frequency that this KOL work with them. So this is the certain KOL profile. As you can see, there are a lot of things that you can play around. You can also toggle around different platforms that she's not only active on Little Red Book. You can check out the Douyin, Weibo, and Bilibili as well. Right, so that's how you can look for KOL if actually you don't know which KOL to work with, right? But what if you already have a KOL that you can work with, right? I know online there's some clients already using Insights. So you might have already go to Insights, and like how Alex is doing, you identify a top KOLs for Chanel Beauty. You actually wanted to check out that KOL. So you can just here, you can key in that KOL name, and then you can do exactly the same. And then that KOL will come out here, and then you can go look out that KOL specific profile to decide whether that KOL worth to work with or not. And I guess another key challenge for lots of brands currently for China market is that there are massive amount of talent agencies out there. There are actually more than 20K talent agencies. they constantly recommend KOLs to the brands to work with. So it could be like 20 KOLs, 100 KOLs. So what if in that case, you have a large number of KOLs that you need to decide to work with? So there has to be a tool that go and evaluate those KOL effectively, right? So this is how Paklu's evaluation comes in. So I have preset a more specific here. So as you can see here, for the KOL evaluation, what I can do is I can actually mass upload the KOL in the platform to evaluate. So the Paklu platform tracks 350K KOLs, but at the same time, the brands actually have option to upload the KOLs that's not in our database as well. So once you upload this KOL, then the platform will give you an option of all the KOL list here based on the ranking. And what is really great about this is that you can give different weighting for those KOL. So say if today your campaign objective is actually to increase your brand awareness, right? Then you might want to give more weighting for impact. If it's sales conversion, you might want to look at community and relevancy, right? So there's this 6 metrics. I will encourage you guys to set a call with us if you wanted to know more, because there are different calculations for all these metrics. But once you did that, you adjust the weighting, you're happy with the result, you can actually do batch action for all these KOL. You can favor them, you can tag them, you can invite them to run a live campaign on the platform as well. Yeah. So that's search, right? For you to discover the KOL and for you to evaluate the KOL. So once from a KOL level, you have done all this, then you wanted to tap into the competitive landscape. So that's Paklu KOL analytics. So analytics is very much similar to what you have with our insight tool, what Alex just showed us. But because this is a KOL specific, right? Instead of tracking across all the channels, the data that we pull back can be a lot more granular. So I'm going to share with you guys what we have that you might not be able to find from Insight platform. So yeah, so it's pretty much the engagement data that you are able to find from Paklu platform that's not available on Insights. So from here, I can see all the competitors benchmarking for all this engagement data. And I also have the choice to do a ranking for them. And interesting, I found why Chanel Beauty can be so successful, right? Because she's actually very active on Bilibili. So their virtual currency and their moving comments on the screen is actually very active. So then I decide to go and look for this, look at Chanel Beauty to see what specific KOL strategy that she might be using. And if I go in again, this is quite similar to Insights, but what is really helpful here is that the platform gives you the top 100 KOL instead of the top 30. So it's a lot more comprehensive, and it also gives you other options to look at. So the word cloud. So the word cloud actually tells you the topic momentum that's trending out there. So whether it's the anti-aging product or a certain type of serums that could be very popular out there. So you can actually identify all these hot topics. And again, post that you can sort it out by our MIV as well. And what is really cool here is a sentiment analysis. So the sentiment analysis, it actually is not an analysis on the post itself, it's an analysis on the comments for that certain post. So what that means is that it's targeting your direct consumers, right? So it can be really valuable for you to guide your KOL strategy or your product strategy. So if you are interested to know more, then yeah, do get in touch with us for this. Yeah, so we just go through the search part and the competitor landscape competition. So that's kind to monitor. So as Alex mentioned, right now, currently, the brands actually lack a standardized metrics to really measure their campaign and brand performance after they run all this campaign with the KOL or KOC. So that's how Monitor can help you. And so there are two parts for Monitor. So campaign monitor and KOL monitor. So again, I have preset a more specific here. So if I go to campaign monitor, what you can see is, again, very granular data specifically for KOL and influencer, and you will be able to produce the ROI result by all the platform, the engagement data as well, and the platform performance as well as the KOL performance that's part of this campaign. And if you scroll down, you will see all these posts, right? The actual posts and the pictures. So what is gonna be really a time saver is that you can export all this data into Excel or a PPT format in just one click. So yeah, so this is similar to what we do in Discover. So you don't need to do all the copy and paste work, right? So that's campaign monitor. And then the last thing that I wanted to share, so for you to get to know that your investment for Park Group platform can be a lot more fruitful, is the KOL monitor. Yeah. So so KOL monitor, right? So this KOL monitor actually enable the brands to keep consistent monitoring for the KOLs that that's part of their campaigns. So I have actually set up a product seedings KOLs for Little Red Book here. And again, what you can do here is you can do mass upload for all the KOL into the platform. Once you do the upload, the platform will produce the total result and the benchmarking averaging result for you. And if you go down, so this tool actually helps you to really hold accountable for what the KOL is doing, right? So the KOL activity monitoring, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. So this is actually around about 300 KOLs that I uploaded. So for all these 300 KOLs, imagine that I have sent them all the gifts. I actually pay them similar amount of cash for them to post their content. But if I look at here in August, now it's already the last day of the month. I have most of the KOL actually posted out, but not this KOL, right? Not this KOL. So then I can decide, you know, I get my team to reach out to this KOL and ask why she's not doing that. Well, she already get my free gift, right? So this is a great way to hold them accountable, to track their activity. And along the way, you can actually use this tool to find your brand lover, find your brand ambassador. So an example, a really good example is here, this KOL, so she actually worked with my brand, More Pacific, for the first 3 months. But then start from April, I actually didn't engage with her at all, but she continued to talk about my brand, and 2 times or even 3 times. And in August, she also mentioned about my brand. So I can go in and click on this number to see what she actually mentioned about my brand, right? And then I can decide, oh, actually this KOL talk about my brands without me even reach out to her, without me even pay her or send her free gift, right? So she might be the best you know, brand advocate for me. Yeah. So this is just 2 examples how you can use this KOL monitor. But apparently there are more data that you can play around with. So today's session is supposed to be a very high-level quick session. As you can see, Paklu platform is actually it can be a one-stop solution for brands to do pre-campaign KOL and competitor discover to post-campaign brand performance measurement. So with Paklu platform, pretty much you will be able to really tackle all these key challenges that Alex mentioned from her previous slide. Yeah, I hope that's helpful. And I think our time is almost up, but I think we have a couple minutes for questions, if any.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Gracie. We do have 4 more minutes, so I'm going to see what kind of questions we were able to get here. Okay, so one person is asking that you showed you covered Douyin, but how do you track the mention if it's in a video?
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a great question, because Douyin is getting increasingly important, right? So what we decide to do is start from last June. Paklu actually used a certain technology to track Douyin by converting the video into text. So we're able to do that transcript now for the Douyin content. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. And then another question is, you mentioned you have 350,000 KOLs in your database. Do these KOLs have to be signed up to the platform so I can get their analytics?
Again, great question. I actually just share in a couple of sessions over there that so brands actually have the options to upload the KOLs into the platform by themselves. So it's not like how typical agencies that's working with the KOLs. So Paklu Launchmetrics we're actually software company, so it's very data driven. So as long as you have that KOL, you can actually add into the platform without any sort of cooperation with them.
Okay, amazing. And the last question I think we have time for is, which social media platforms do you cover?
Yeah, so in terms of social media platform, they are around about 11 platforms that we cover right now. But if we talk about the key social platform, right, that's in Chinese it's called the 双微一抖小红书, right? So I think someone might be able to pick that up, but that means Weibo, WeChat, Little Red Book, and Douyin. And so that 4 social platforms are the key one. And then Bilibili, which is the Chinese YouTube, is also a key one. Bilibili's user group is actually the youngest generation. As you can see, Chanel Beauty is actually pretty active on Bilibili. So we covered 11 platforms, but I would say these 5 platforms are really the key one for the brands to look into and then Bilibili is a very interesting one. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. I think that's all the time we have for the questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to email them. We'll be very happy to answer any. Thank you so much, Gracie, for joining at such a late hour. And thank you so much to everyone. Hope this was helpful. If you have any other questions, again, please feel free to email us. And we have some upcoming sessions on other products, so keep an eye out. Our next upcoming one is samples internal tracking using RFID. So make sure you sign up to that if that sounds interesting. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.